New Thought Media Network proudly presents The High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network.
Hey, family, and welcome to another episode of the High Vibe Hour with Reverend Skip and Reverend Cynthia. And Reverend Cynthia is starting her Bali trip today. And I know that she's going to watch a replay because it's like 13 hours ahead. But she is starting that Bali trip that we've been talking about. But today, I have a new friend that's, well, not a new friend. I've known Reverend Julie Moret for such a long time, but she is one of our newest co-hosts for this show, and she's dropping in today, but she's going to be a fixture into our show, into our broadcast, and I'm so excited to welcome this dear friend, teacher, sister girl, love, Reverend Julie Moret. Hey, Moret, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to be with you today. So much fun.
So much fun. You know what? And in Surrey says your name is Moret. I'm going, that's not it. It's Julie Moret. So everyone, it's Reverend Julie Moret. I just adore you. And for me, it's been one of these incredible journeys because I don't know if you know that you are one of my first ministerial teachers. You taught us public speaker for ministers.
That's right. I did.
And I remember one of the things that you had given me, one of the greatest, I guess, not even advice, but guidance is, I said, you know, I've been speaking in fitness realms for a long time. I've been traveling the world, speaking, but I just haven't really got this whole ministry down. And you're like, just relax. This is something completely different, and let it be something different. And from that moment, I always realized that every time I get up on a pulpit, it's something different, something new. So thank you. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so happy we're playing together. I'm so glad to share some of the content that we've got because it makes a difference. And I love that. I'm a tools girl. I love any kind of practices or tools that make a difference. So
I do too. I love that as well. And one of the things that I love about you, you are, I call it practical spirituality, because some people tell you to get the end point of where you should be. And some teachers don't give you that, you know, that journey, what are the steps to get there. And whenever you speak, you always give practical spirituality. Here are the steps to get to where you want to be. I've always admired that about you.
Yeah, I think it's so important. I really love that. I love like very usable, doable, simple practices to help me stay in alignment, you know, to help me when I get off track. What do I do when I get back on track? I love that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And, you know, before we drop into What's Your What, because I think that is some of the like coolest titles I've ever, you know, heard was What's Your What. I went, oh, okay, that makes sense to me. But before we drop in there, we talked about how you raising the vibe. That's our first segment, and raising the vibe. And for our audience that's just tuning in, we know that life is lifing, but we don't have to be in the depths of the life. We could be in the greater life. And sometimes raising the vibe could just be going for a little dance or reading a book or taking a bath. So how are you raising the vibe? What's going on with you, Rev?
Okay, so we just had the 4th of July in the United States. I have a teenage son. And so I was noticing that I had a lot of anxiety. Like, he's out in the world now. I can't wear him in a baby Bjorn anymore. Like, it's just not going to work as much as I would like that to happen. And so I was feeling nervousness, and that's all I was focusing on. And like, that's not going to be helpful. So I remembered something that one of our mutual teachers, Reverend Kathleen McNamara, has said to me a while ago. And she said, I trust his life. I trust that his life is for him. So for that whole day, because he was staying with friends, it was like 3 days. He was not in my clutches. And so I just spent the whole time like, I trust his life. I trust that his life is for him. I trust that he and everybody around him are going to make smart choices. I was just trusting and trusting. And that practice brought me peace. And so that's like the first offering, like it's a free gift and it's peace, like right there. Because it really, when you hear that, does that land for you? Like
Absolutely.
whatever's going on in your life, like I trust my life.
Trust the life. I love that. What did you do on the 4th of July? Because I have a lot of friends that just didn't do anything. They weren't feeling very festive. I know I wasn't. And for me, it was like, I got some sleep because I've been sleeping since my mother had been in and out of the hospital for the last 3 months. So for me to get some sleep on the 4th of July, that's what I did. What did you do?
Okay. This could be a whole other conversation that I am not going to open up about, like, are we celebrating the 4th of July or
Ooh,
not?
right.
I will not open that conversation, though I have
Thank
many
you.
thoughts. Yeah, I wasn't really in that kind of a vibe. So I was actually at the beach, but it was way more contemplative and just kind of doing my thing. And I there have been a lot of surveys going around like, are you proud to be an American? And what I thought is maybe the focus should be on what can you do or how can you live in such a way that you do feel proud to be an American? And so I started thinking, well, what would help me feel more proud? And so that's really where my focus was on that day.
Well, we had a great talk, and at our church, North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, a Center for Oneness, so Oneness Center, we had this conversation, and on I guess it was the 6th of July, they made a decision, our leadership made a decision to sing This Land Is Your Land. And I brought it up in the middle of a meeting going, well, there's a lot of people that don't feel like this land is your land. This land is my land. And we went to the history of this, that it was a protest song when people weren't feeling that this land was your land. This land is my land. So she brought into her talk, Reverend Dr. Sydney brought into her talk about how we can reach that place where we feel that this land is our land, because this land was created for you and me. It was, and it is created by you and me. And one thing I love about one of our other teachers and mentors, Michael Beckwith at the Agape International Spiritual Center, the founder director, he says, you can't take sides on a round planet. And I quote him all the time. You can't take sides on a round planet, people. So, it was an interesting time.
Yeah. And I think it's important to focus on what I do desire as opposed to what I do not desire.
Yes.
That's a big kind of tenet that I live by. And so it's like, what is forward propelling? And that's where the focus is. That's where the energy is. And then it creates more good that we probably couldn't even imagine. It creates outcomes that we probably couldn't even fathom. What I do desire as opposed to what I do not desire.
I love this. I want to recognize some of our viewers that are on today. Hello, y'all. Good to see you. And Denise is online with us. Denise is one of our members at North Hollywood. I love you, Denise. And she writes, good morning, Rev Skip, Rev Julie. So happy and excited I can be here today. Yes, I am too, because normally you work on the Friday morning. Denise, I love you, my sister. And we also have Liz that's online. Liz, oh, sis. Love you.
Liz is there. Yes.
Liz watches the show almost every week. We love you, Liz. And then Love Sunshine. You're online on YouTube, and we just welcome you in from the OC. I'm grateful for you as well. So, Rev, I've been life is lifing. My mother landed back into the hospital, but I got to remember this. Another thing, Reverend Jason reminded me of what Reverend Michael said to him about traffic. You're not in traffic, you're in God. So I can't say my mother landed in the hospital because my mother's in God. But right now, her body temple's taking a rest. She had a stroke yesterday. And we've been going back and forth. I've been flying back and forth. I was going to make another trip out on Monday. My brother's like, don't come out yet. It's okay. Just rest, be still. We'll find out what's going on. So for me, it's been absolutely taking these countermeasures, I want to say, or these polarity experiences other than what I'm truly feeling, not to do a spiritual bypass, just to lift my vibration. So I've been watching comedy.
Yeah.
I've been watching stand up, which I love.
Uh-huh.
I've been in the space of listening to more house music, and my listeners know that I'm a big house music fan. I've been going out dancing, and also knowing that my mind and my ego wants to say, well, you're not doing enough. You know, you're not really a good son. You know, you should go on the plane, but you know, you can't go on the planes. You got to work. And I've been like, okay, my ego's called Little Skip. And I say, Little Skip, I hear you. I love you, but I know the truth that I have done enough. I am enough. We are enough together. And I was doing that this morning.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've been doing to lift my vibe is probably have this book and you probably read it 1,000 times. It's 40-day mind fast soul feast. And the first day it says that we might not be able to deal with the birds that are flying around our head, but they don't have to nest into your hair.
Yeah.
There could be this talk that's outside saying that we're not doing enough, but I'm not accepting it as my truth, as in my mind. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what that brings up for me? There are times when I feel like I could spin out because there's so many issues and so many needs in the world. And it's like, oh, I need to go march for that, or I need to donate to that, or I need to and it's diluting and I'm ineffective. And so really the whole inspiration that got me to even think about What's Your What, which is my book, the whole thing that made me even go in that direction was, well, if we all hone in on our thing and we're all being our thing, all the needs of the planet get handled. Like there's this one woman, Alana, she does reforestation. I could hear about the diminishing forests and care about it, but like that's her thing. That's her track, you know? So if I'm on my track and you're on your track and everybody finds, so that's why I feel like it's as necessary as air and water to like look inside and clarify, like, what did I come in with? What are the things that were loaded and coded inside of me? And then how can I share them? And then I feel a lot more peace because I feel like I'm doing my part, you know?
That is so powerful. And our listeners know we always call this with Dr. Sydney or Dr. Cynthia, Reverend Cynthia. This is a practice session on steroids for both of us. We always get to speak truth. And I am so grateful to hear that. And thank you for speaking truth and a reminder of a reminder. And y'all, thank you for all the prayers. All the listeners have been praying for Mama Jennings, Rebecca Jennings, because prayer works, y'all. Trust me, I know. So we're going to have a true talk. This is a segment we drop into the meat of what we're doing. Our true talk is about what is your what and finding your what. This is a dynamic book. And you know what I did this time around? I have had your book for a while. I downloaded the audio and Audible. I hope you get a point. I'm listening to you driving this morning. I'm going, yeah, there's that peaceful expression of God that is so inspiring, yet so peaceful and calm.
Oh, good. I love the audio versions.
Oh my goodness. So before we drop in, I want people to get a little taste of you. And let's kick back and watch this YouTube reel. This is Reverend Julie Moret, y'all.
I feel like childlike, not childish, but childlike. Like, dear God, let me be like I'm just a great big basket of ribbons and lace and sparkly beads and shiny glitter and Elmer's glue and pastel paints and Crayola crayons and clay, and mold me, make something wonderful out of me. Isn't that what you want? It's use me, God, but use all of me. Don't you just use the pretty parts. Don't you just use the shiny, got it all together parts, the part that was able to fit in this dress tonight. You use all of me, God. You use the version of me that will show up next week too bloated to get the zipper up. Use that. Use the places where I feel worn out and broke down. The places where I feel incomplete, not ready yet, terrified to make a single step. God forbid I should misstep. God forbid I should fall on my face. The places where I care so much about what you think. Use the places in me, Lord, where I feel I have been hurt and harmed and damaged beyond repair. And you grow a garden in my scars, Lord. That's what we get to do. So I thought, I'm going to mix it up. And I enlisted the support of a master herbalist. I was so excited about this because I just knew that he would have the perfect blend of dried berries and bark and twigs. And I'd brew it all up in my home for hour upon hour until the whole place reeked of its pungent stench. And then I would drink down the bitter liquid and the excess weight would magically melt away. I was so excited the day I got to meet the master herbalist. And so I came to him and I said, "Oh, great and wise, mighty master herbalist, can you help me lose this weight?" And he said to me, "Yes, my child, I can help you release the weight." And I said, "Oh, thank you, great and wise, mighty master herbalist. What is it you will have me do?" And he leaned in very close and he whispered these fateful words to me. He said, "Eat less, move more." $300, please. What? $300, please. Have you ever noticed how advice that comes with an invoice improves your hearing? What? I'm a spiritual leader all day long. And then all of a sudden it was the mommy. Like mommy showed up, warrior mommy, fierce mommy, tiger mom, like you don't mess with my kid. And all I can think is, how can I protect him? How can I raise my child in this world? What kind of legacy are we leaving our children? And so my first thoughts were, like find a bunker, we're going down. We're going to go and just hide out forever and stay safe and stay together. And then after a little while, I started thinking, like, in this day and age, you can't get safe enough. Oceans don't separate countries anymore. You can't build a fat enough wall, a tall enough wall. There's nothing that can keep us safe enough. So why not just double down and go all the way on this life? Why not give everything? Why not serve everything up? Why not find out, like, God, what do you want of me? You have brought me into this world in a crazy time. So use me. And so I thought, all right, let's love hard. Let's love harder. Let's be boldly unwavering in our convictions. Let's give everything, go all out, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Not for me and not for my child.
Now, here's the kicker. Your good may show up for you exactly as you imagine. You may be able to tick off every single point on your 97-point checklist. And it may show up very different. How many times have we gotten tripped up going after something so hard and it's right here in your face, but you're looking for it to show up exactly the way you planned? It is not for us to worry about the how. It is not for us to worry about, that's a 5-year story of my relationship with my husband. 5 years, he's like this in my life. And I'm just thinking, excuse me, could you just move over, sir? I'm looking for a husband here. If you could, you just step aside. I'd like to. Finally, one day I was like, oh, well, all right. That's your life. It's ever looping back around on you, offering you a seat at the table of your own soul's divinity. Is not for us to worry about the how. It is only to develop a faith, a trust, a gut knowing that your life is for you, no matter what. Your life is for you, truly, and all is well.
Oh, that was fun. I haven't seen that in a long time.
What do you feel when you hear yourself speak these incredible truths? Because I'm laughing and I'm almost in tears as well. And then there's the ego part of me. If I could only speak as well as Reverend Julie or these truths, right? So this is where the what is your what comes in for me. It's like, own my what's. I speak as well. I do incredible things as well. And I whenever I hear a phenomenal teacher like you and Reverend Michael Beckwith, and I hear other teachers speak, I'm going, if I could only, I catch myself and going, hold up, that's in me as well. So two questions. What do you feel when you see this and you hear this? And what do you feel when when someone says, I want to be just like you?
Well, to the first one, the first thing that comes to mind is availability. Like when it works is when I am in alignment and I'm available. I'm available to what wants to happen through me. In that clip, the part where I was being interviewed in the white jacket inside a house, do you know where I was?
Where?
Oh my God, that just takes me right back. That was right after the shooting at Pulse nightclub.
Oh,
I was brought there
oh.
to film a documentary by people that were involved and directly impacted. And so we had been on site and I had just left there. And I'm thinking like I'm right back there right now. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I have a child. I'm bringing a child into this world, you know? And so if ever there was a reason for spiritual practice, it's because if we just took the world at face value, oh my gosh. But when I go back to that, I trust my life. My life is for me. I've spoken before about times when that's too much to go into right now. I've spoken about times when something seemed so big, it was insurmountable, but you can get to a place in your consciousness. I have gotten to a place in my consciousness at times that no matter what happens, even if it means I'm physically no longer here or somebody I love is physically no longer here, that there is an eternal nature of life. Like there's something we can do in our consciousness. So when I watch those clips, I am aware of that it works when I am authentic and available to the moment.
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness. Yeah.
that's what works. And
And when you say that,
yeah.
that is what always works. I mean, when we are available, I remember the reading I did last Sunday that, really shifted me again. And we began talking about how we can have a partnership. And by the way, our other co-host is online from Bali right now. Reverend Cynthia Ambrose, you're online. Look who we get to play with right now. Look who we're going to create something amazing. And but the reading from Michael Beckwith from last week was that we only need to be available. That's all we need to be. We don't have to work for it. We just need to be available.
Yes. And so if somebody says like, I want to be like you, or when I feel like I want to be like somebody else, it's sweet, but it never works.
Yeah.
Because there's only one me, there's only one you, there's only one to the person listening. But it's how can I clarify what is my uniqueness? And I think that has been like a soul journey for me in this lifetime, because I have felt like, I was always kind of good at a lot of different things, but like, what's my main thing? What am I? And so that journey of finding out what is my purpose, when we're on it, it's empowering and it creates a kind of alignment. Like there's this renowned psychologist, I'm only dropping his name because it's fun to say, it's Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. And he wrote Flow, and it is about how to create flow in your daily life. And it's flow, the psychology of optimal experience. And when we are aligned with our true self, that's when you could be doing a task that's challenging, but you can do it. It's not too much for you or too little for you. You can do it. It's when hours pass like minutes. And so that's the juicy point for me, when there is a point of flow, and that's what you experienced in each of those clips. Like I was doing what I came here to do, what I was built to do. And so for each person, and for myself, as I keep evolving, like what is mine? What is yours? Because when we're on it, it creates what we call synergy or synchron destinies. Like things just start to kind of come into alignment when you do what you came here to do.
No, I created an acronym of FLOW. I've been using it for the last 20 years. And the FLOW acronym for me is very similar: is faith, love, openness, and willingness. Have faith that you're right where you are called to be. Love yourself as you're doing what you're called to do. Be open and willing to do things in a different way, but it's still what you're called to do. I remember one of the incredible practices that we had, Reverend Cynthia, you probably remember, we had to create our purpose statement. And we were told we no longer have mission statements because the mission is something you intend to do, but your purpose is why you are here. And my purpose statement came through after many iterations, but it simply came to this: I am here to help people to see the light within themselves as I see the light within myself so that we may shine together. That's my purpose statement. And it's been the purpose statement for a very long time. You know, this book is transformative. I just want to say it's been a part of my life for so long. What was the catalyst of this book for you? What was the thing that came forth from this book to you? You said, I had to write this book, and here it is. What was your catalyst?
Yeah, I was tired of being muddy. Like, I didn't know what I was. I didn't know why I was here. I didn't know what the point was. And so I wanted to find out, like, how do you become self-inspiring? That's a big thrust of this book. I'm very interested in ways to rig my environment so it pays silent inspirational dividends. I'm going to say that again. Rig my environment so it pays silent inspirational dividends. I do a lot of work with feng shui, so I have things that remind me, reflect back who I really am, what I'm here for. And like, I think I did the trek to base camp on Mount Everest this past October. And so right above my computer screen is an image of Mount Everest with a full moon, and there's a snow leopard. And like, I'm like remembering a fierceness that really does exist within me. Sometimes I don't feel it, but when I look at that, it like supercharges me. And there are a lot of like, What's Your What? The book is filled with those kinds of practices. How can we supercharge our environment? I had a really sweet thing happen. Marie Diamond, who is a great feng shui master, she was at the Agape International Spiritual Center, where I work, where you are, a couple of weeks ago, and I DM'd her, and I didn't go up to her during service, but I said, I'm such a fan of your work. I just used it in a class I taught at Agape University. And she started following me. I was like, oh, that's so fun. We had a really nice interaction, but those kinds of things like became part of, and I think we're going to do an exercise in a little while, like where I got clear about, oh, this is my thing. I've shared a story many times about how I wasn't sure who I was or why I was on this earth. And I got a phone call a few years back from an artist that I had been friends with many, many years ago. And the nature of our friendship was that he lived in Paris, I lived in New York City, and we were pen pals. I would write him these, like, I was 20 years old, and I would write him these long, torrid, like, what is the meaning of life kind of letters. And he would send back to me one of his canvases, his artwork, with an inscribed letter to me, right? And at the time he said, take good care of these. They're going to be worth a lot of money one day. So anyway, years and years passed. We lost touch. He calls me a couple years back, and it was really nice to catch up. But I noticed I started having this sinking feeling, like, here he is. He's become extraordinarily famous, and I'm, like chopped liver. And so I wanted to get off the phone after a while, and I said, okay, well, thank you. And I started to get off the phone, and he said, well, I just wanted to call you and thank you. And I said, what for? And he said, you were my muse. I hung up the phone, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. And I looked up the word, and it means source of inspiration. And all of a sudden, you talk about alignment, all the moments in my life of how I have shown up naturally, where there is flow, is when I've been a source of inspiration. And I'm like, oh, then that's my purpose. But last piece here, I called a girlfriend and I was telling her that. And she said, well, if you were this big, rich, famous person's muse, he owes you some money, right? And as soon as she said that, something clicked. And I went into my storage unit. I have many, many pieces of his artwork. I sent them to a girlfriend in New York who's an art dealer, and I had her like clean them up and store them for me. And I got like an appraisal. It's a fortune.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
When you are doing that thing for which you were born with sincerity, with humility, with earnestness, it will support you. I'm not going to sell those, but the idea that thing that I gave zero value to, I just gave it away. It's actually worth something. And now that I know that, I write books, I do talks, and now I kind of know, oh, that's why I'm here in this lifetime. Source of inspiration.
So Rev, I got to ask you, what is the what? Because we know we're finding our what, but then there is a greater what, I believe, that you talk about the what. What is that what? And it comes in different forms of how we express the what. So what would you call the what?
So I think that the what is our driving values, and we're going to do an exercise around that. So by the time folks leave our high vibe hour today, you're going to know what your drivers are. And when we focus on our drivers, those main guiding values in our lives, rather than the red Lamborghini or the hot, sexy partner, when you focus on your guiding drivers in this life, your guiding values, you will receive things you could have never fathomed. It might include the red Lamborghini and the hot, sexy lover, but thank you. But it's deeper and it's richer. And so what is what satisfies your soul's journey for this lifetime? The thing that you came here to not just do, but to be.
And it's not based on, and this is, we always teach from transparency, and Cynthia talks about this quite a bit. We teach from where we are. We teach what we need to know. We know what we need to teach. And for me, it has been, and I'm sure a lot of people online have this, and if you're watching it now, you're watching it later on YouTube, I'm right here with you. Sometimes we want to qualify or quantify or put a, how amazing our what is by the monetary money that we receive.
Right.
And I've learned in this journey, it's not about the money we receive. It's not about anything. It's about, am I freely giving my gifts and my talents? Just to let you know, like yesterday, it was so interesting. Yesterday, I do a chair yoga class, and it's been monitoring around 10 people, maybe 8, whatever. And it's been wonderful because we do it for a donation at North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. And then I began to say, I'm here to be of service. And whoever shows up, I'm going to give my fullest talents in yoga, in sound healing, in meditation. I'm just going to be of service. We had 18 people in class.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, God, I hear you.
That's the tricky thing about being of service, is that you don't give to get, but when you give, you get. But you can't be thinking, I'm giving to get. Right? And, Reverend Michael has often said, I think it was his grandfather that used to say that the hands of the giver are never empty. So when we think of our what, that thing that you're there to give, it's two things. It's, yes, I am here to share. I'm here to just give 100% all in. And you and I had this talk yesterday, and we are grateful to be richly sourced and supplied in return. Like it's okay. I feel like sometimes in some communities it's looked down upon to make money or have prosperity.
Yeah.
No, it just means you're available to another part of who you came here to be in this life. We came here to have flow, and that includes prosperity and abundance. It's not about prosperity and abundance, but our lives, when we're all open, include prosperity and abundance and service and giving, right? It's all of it.
And whenever that we are going after the get of something, it's never enough.
Yes.
When I'm after the give of something, the give of my life, I'm always fulfilled. And Frank, I want to acknowledge you. Hey, Frank, good to see you. And you're right. There is enough and more than enough to receive. Also, Denise is dropping this in there. Mount Everest. You know what? I followed you on Instagram. You did an Instagram story. I was like, she's doing the doggone thing. She is playing big. And I remember dropping in right before you were going to go, and we're walking into the way of meditation, and I said, what's going on? She goes, well, I'm going to climb Everest. I went, what? Where did this come from? Do you remember having that conversation? I'm going to climb Everest. I was like, what? What was that yes all about for you? What was that that said, I'm going to climb Everest?
So the funny thing about that is that a couple years prior, I was in a ministers meeting with Reverend Michael Beckwith and several other ministers. And right before we got off the call, he said, like, what are you like looking forward to, or what are you bringing into your life? He asked each one. And I said, I want to do the trek on Mount Everest. And he was so sweet because, like, of course, I'm not going to be climbing Mount Everest in everybody's mind. And so he said, well, whether it's the real mountain that you climb or another one, it means that your soul is climbing mountains. Like there's a desire. And so I think that's what the desire was, but I really did the thing. And so it was just, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And literally I felt like so much humiliation on the second night because the second day was unimaginably challenging. I was going almost completely vertical for 10 hours. Like, on what planet? I like shopping. Like, what is this, right? Almost 10 hours like this. It was like doing lunges up a mountainside, altitude, all the things. And I felt so much embarrassment, like, I've told everybody, and I'm going to have a helicopter come get me. And then I did everything that we've been talking about at 2:00 in the morning. My life is for me. I trust my life. My life is for me. And so it was, you asked how it was. It was the hardest. It was the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. It was the most extraordinary thing. I'm so proud of it. It was awful and wonderful. And the insane part is there is something inside of me that like wants to go back. Like, I can't even say it out loud, but I did. Like, it's, and I just keep trying to remember Reverend Michael's words. It's that I have a mountain I want to climb, and I'm like I'm trying to make it be spiritual now.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break here, but when we come back, we're going to talk about how can people find their what. Also, we're going to talk about, and the same as you, one of the things that I've been holding back this year, and I've been doing retreats off and on here and there. We are discussing doing retreats together, and Reverend Cynthia and I discussed, I really committed myself because I was selling insurance and I didn't like selling insurance. And that was my, my side hustle to, kind of bring more money. And they let me go. I orchestrated through the universe. I'm not happy here, but it opened up the room for me to find a new what. And it's retreats, it's speaking. So I know there's a lot of people online that want to hear about how to get there. But before we do that, we have to pay some bills here at the New Thought Media Network, y'all. This is a high vibe hour here at the New Thought Media Network. And I'm here with my friend, Reverend Julie Moret, and Reverend Cynthia. You're online too. And hopefully she'll be back in a couple of weeks, where the three of us will be online. So stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned.
What would Louise say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger, learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website www.ntmedia.org to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
Thought Media Network proudly presents the High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network.
All right, family, welcome back to the High Vibe Hour, and it is with Reverend Cynthia, who is out in Bali on retreat. I'm here, Reverend Skip, and we are here with our new co-host, Reverend Julie, and we're so incredibly excited about what God has in store for this network and for our show and the High Vibe Hour. We're here to raise the vibration of this planet. Reverend Julie, we're talking about what's your what, and I know a lot of people are asking, how can they find their what?
Yeah. So there's a really nice practice that I have that's a great starting point. And you could take a moment, if you're not driving or operating equipment, it might be helpful to close your eyes and recall a peak moment in your life, a moment that was just so good. It was just like a great moment. Think about a peak moment and imagine you're right in that peak moment. And if you feel like you've never had a really excellent moment in your life, I think we all have. But if you're at that place where you're like, there's never been one, make one up. Because the part of you making it up is your subconscious mind. It will give you exactly what you need. So once again, recall like such a good moment. Imagine you're right in it. See what you saw, feel what you felt, hear what you heard when you're right in that just an awesome, excellent, such a good moment. Now become aware. What are the qualities of God that were present in that moment that made it so extraordinary? Qualities of God are things like peace, love, harmony, power, prosperity, abundance, strength, ease, grace, bliss, ecstasy, creativity, beauty, integrity, justice, freedom. So as you imagine, see, sense, visualize, pretend that you are in that moment that was so good. It was such a great moment. What are the qualities of God that made it so great for you? And see if you can come up with maybe 3 of them, 3 of the best qualities. Peace, love, freedom, creativity, beauty, harmony, prosperity, abundance, wholeness, vitality, righteousness, bliss, ecstasy. And so just make a mental note of maybe the top 3 qualities that were present in that moment. And you can set that aside and imagine, just kind of shake that out for a minute. And now I'd like you to imagine that you could float high above your own body. So you're like high above the place that you're in, high above the level of trees. You're up to the level of clouds. And you're kind of drifting over the past of your life and get above a time that you didn't like. It's kind of the opposite. It was a time where maybe you felt upset or frustrated or angry, and you're going to stay up high. Don't go down there. You're going to just stay up high and look down at it and notice, what are some of the qualities of God that were not present or were suppressed in that moment that you really needed? Like it would have been really great to have. So now you're very high above a moment that you didn't like, maybe upset, angry, frustrated. And as you view it from way, way, way down below you, what are the qualities of God that were not present or were suppressed that you really needed in that moment? Qualities of God, things like freedom, peace, love, prosperity, wholeness, vitality, ease, grace, harmony, bliss. And maybe notice like the top 3 qualities that were not present that you really needed. Now, kind of shake all that out, come back to this moment, blah, 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 just shake it all out. And at this point, you probably have a few qualities, maybe 3 qualities from the moment that was awesome, maybe a couple, 3 qualities from the moment that you didn't like. Notice, are any of the qualities the same? Are any of the qualities synonyms? Are they similar? And if you put these qualities together, maybe, 6 or so qualities, These are your main drivers for this lifetime. It is highly likely that these are the qualities, whatever it is that you are meant to do or be in this lifetime, if they include these qualities, they will come with a level of contentment beyond your wildest dreams. There's something that was seeded in you long ago. Did you follow along with me? Can you let us know in the chat? Were you able to follow along with this?
That's what I was going to tell people. Please drop in whatever came up. Let's share in the chat. This is interactive together. Join the conversation.
Yeah, because like I can give an example of this. When I was a teenager, I've shared before, I just naturally used to sleep with a picture of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. under my pillow at night. I have no idea why. It wasn't a conscious choice. It was just a thing I had to do. And my main driver, when I go above a time that I didn't like, and I look at what are the qualities that were missing that I needed, it was a time I felt trapped. I felt like I didn't have option, and what I needed was freedom. So freedom is a big driver. And I know y'all are processing this, but hear this piece because it's really important, I believe. As I started to honor that quality that I was born to, it's born to be a part of me, it paves a way for you. Yeah. Martin Luther King III, the son of Dr. King, his wife, Andrea Waters King, their daughter, Yolanda Renee King, have reached out to me. At first I was working with them. Now they're like family to me. Mm-hmm. I could never strategize for something like that. It's just about alignment. So if there's any big takeaway from our high vibe hour today, to me, it's alignment. Whether it's rigging your environment so it pays silent inspirational dividends, whether it's clarifying what are the qualities that most resonate with you, and then bring them into your daily life, whether it's colors, whether it's, images, quotes. And then as those qualities become more ingrained in your life, they will draw to you things beyond what you could have hoped for or vision boarded for.
Absolutely. The other thing that comes to mind too, when we were tapping into our what, it's the one thing, we call it right livelihood. It's the one thing that won't let you go, that even when you try to step away, because I tried to step away from ministry many times. When I left Florida, I was like, I am done with ministry. I'm going to go off and sell insurance. And I was in a very dark space in my life going, I don't know what's next. And what kept coming up was these opportunities for me to speak. I was asked to go and be guest speaker at a Unity, several Unity churches. Unity asked me to come and facilitate a retreat for the LGBTQA their ministry. I did that. I started to have these opportunities to speak online service. I'm going, well, God, I said I was done. Obviously, I'm not. And then the next thing I know, I'm having a conversation with Dr. Sydney saying, I'm looking for an assistant. Are you coming home? I'm coming home. And lo and behold, here I am. And that's the one thing that would not let me go. So I knew I am here to be a pulpit minister and to speak. And this is part of my life.
Yes. And one thing I would lovingly challenge folks listening to is to see if you can find what are the confirmations you've gotten from the universe. What are the signs that you get from the universe that you're on the right path or that this is your path? Because we all get them. Sometimes we're numbed out or we block them, but they're there. So like you said, you were done with ministry and then all of a sudden ministry showed up. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not done with you, And so I think we all get those knocks at the door. So I would lovingly say to you listening right now, like, what are the knocks that are at your door right now? Because there's something inside of yourself knocking at the door of your soul and your heart right now. What wants to be heard, what wants to be known, what wants to be as you now. And then you take a baby step and you take another baby step.
It's also that thing where we say, if you had one thing you could do for the rest of your life, what would that be? What are you called to be? What is that one thing? And again, let's go back to what I shared earlier with, it's not about getting anything. It's not about getting anything. It's about giving. We want to say, oh, I'm in my what? I'm doing what I'm called to do because I'm getting a paycheck. Not about that. What is the one thing that you have to do for the rest of your life? And Money is, I believe it's the flow of abundance in the form of money. It's a part of it as well. I believe what we do to make money and our right livelihood can cross pollinate to create this experience of abundance. What do you say to that, Rev?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you're in alignment, alignment is alignment is alignment. So
Mm,
alignment includes everything. It includes our joy, includes contentment, includes prosperity. When I had private practice, I would have clients come to me that, had won Academy Awards or Olympic medals or big bank accounts, and there was a hole inside because anytime you're chasing something for the thing, rather than the values we've talked about. If the values aren't included, it's empty. Or like in the very beginning, I spoke about moving towards what you do desire as opposed to away from what you don't desire. So
mhm.
I've had clients that wanted to be super, super rich so that nobody would ever tease them again for not having the right sneakers like they did in school,
Yeah,
And as long as that's the driver, it may get you to the destination, but the destination will never be complete because there's always like an emptiness. So it has to be, what can I do to clean up my goals and my ambitions so that I'm moving towards what I do want? And I think that's been a really big key piece for me. It may include forgiveness work. There's some bigger practices that we can do in the future that I know of. But I think starting with really rigging your environment so that these qualities we've spoken about today, that you let them take root in your life. And just
absolutely.
that's a great beginning point.
I love it. I am here and I'm hearing this question coming up for me. And so I'm going to ask you, how's intuition played a big part in developing your what?
So I'm going to reverse that. When I'm
Okay,
in alignment, intuition just happens. 2 days ago, I was making a cup of coffee. I have a girlfriend that has a coffee line. She does ceremony with coffee. I was making a cup of coffee. I'm not normally a coffee drinker, but I was making a coffee, and
right.
then I put some cacao in it. And the bag said that it was ceremonial cacao from Ecuador. And
Mm.
I had this like full body thing that happened inside of me. I called my girlfriend, I left her a message, and I said, you need to add cacao to your coffee line. You can do cacao chocolates, you can do, cacao drinks, and it's all ceremonial. So it's in alignment with your business. And I very rarely tell people what to do, but it was like, you need to do this Ecuadorian ceremonial cacao. She didn't respond the rest of the day. So I thought like, oh, maybe I was a little too in her face because I felt it. That alignment was so strong in me. The
Mm.
next day I get a phone call from my girlfriend, Skip Jennings. Guess where she was? She
Where?
was in Ecuador with a shaman training on how to do ceremonial cacao and how to build it into her business.
Oh,
That's what happens when we're in alignment. When you plant those qualities in your life, things that you could never have fathomed, including intuition, come forth.
oh my goodness.
That's like
That,
mic
that-
drop to me.
so powerful. Myself and Reverend Cynthia, we laugh about this. We were talking before she got on the flight to Bali yesterday. We had or Wednesday, had a great conversation. She's landed, she's there. But intuition, I was talking to our partner that's in Bali who does all the logistic planning and everything. And, and he said, well, let's create a referral. Who can refer to do this Bali trip, to do their own Bali trip? And automatically it dropped into my system, Reverend Cynthia Ambrose. And then I heard Spirit say, call her now. And I went, well, I'm not going to call her now. I'm at Unity in Kansas doing a retreat. Why would I call her now? And I heard, call her now. As soon as I called her, she went, I've been praying to do a retreat and to do a Bali retreat. And where is she today? She's in Bali. Intuition.
That's beautiful. Intuition, but you just mentioned the most important part of it.
What's that?
We all are getting intuition every single day.
Yeah.
But it's the next step is taking an action, following through. How many times do you hear that call and then you're like, or my own self-consciousness or whatever. But it's receiving it and building up your antennas so that you get more clear with it, and then being of service with it, taking an
I
action.
love it. So I can't believe time went so quickly. I am so grateful you're joining our show. I'm so grateful that we get to hang out with you. This is gonna be so much fun. Every Friday we get to hang out but we finish and we finish our program with something called the Vibe Insight. And what the Vibe Insight is from our conversation today, what are you taking away from this conversation that you can implement into your life right away? And people online, I want you to drop that in the feed as well. What are you taking away from this show today that you can implement to find your what? What's your Vibe Insight today, Rev?
I think it's a confirmation of being on the right track. I've wanted to get something going online more regularly. And so I love that, we met at Agape last Sunday and wept when we had this wait, we should do something. So yeah. I think it's that reminder to really sink into my spiritual practice so I can be as clear as I can possibly be, and then take actions. That's going to be my takeaway from today, is that when I get those hits, manageable, doable. I can't do great big strides. I like manageable, doable. So what's one simple, easy step to take today, Oh
my goodness. I'm going to, my Vibe Insight, sis, I'm going to piggyback right on what you were saying. And I remember us having this conversation right after service. And I said, yeah, the Bali trip, we're doing our meeting and And my work is I want to create retreats all over the place. That's my calling. And you said something like, can we do it together? Or can we do that? I was like, yeah. Yes, mind you, I have been praying a week before, I want to do this with someone I admire, someone inspires me, someone I can trust. I want to find someone to do this with you. And it's like, can I do this? And I was like, you're my answered prayer. I'm going to be in that space with you to listen, to hear, and take action. Yeah. And take action. And not listen to my ego will go, no one's going to really read that next book that you have coming out into the month, 10 Steps for Transformation of Your Life coming into the month. But it is.
Sorry, what's it called? Can we just do that one more time? What is it called?
Transform in 10. And this came out of my life. I just turned 61, and I'm just grateful that I'm here at 61. And everyone always says I'm still teaching fitness and yoga. They always said, what are you doing to say so young? I'm going, okay, meditation. This book is about my 10 steps I use to keep my life going, because when you hit 50, it's a new door that's opening up. So, and the ego was telling me, well, no one's going to buy this book. No one's going to. And I'm going, little Skip, I hear you. So yeah. I need to not listen to little Skip so much and listen to the divine presence within me.
I have a practice maybe on the next session.
Next week.
It's you and me next week. Little one within that I really love. Yeah. That'll be our teaser. It's so helpful.
Then let's do a show on the ego and the little one, and let's work on that. Yeah. We have something special for you next week, so y'all need to stay tuned, because Reverend Julie Moret's going to be with us. This is so awesome. Where can people find you, Rev? Where can people find you?
I'm mostly on Instagram at Rev REV Julie JULIE Moret MORET at Rev Julie Moret. I do everything on Instagram, and then I try to remember to share it to Facebook, but the main place is Instagram. And I do have a YouTube channel.
Yes, you do.
It's Rev Julie Moret. And then my book is on Amazon, What's Your What? How to Ignite Your Unique Brand. And it's also on Audible, which is really fun. And I have some guided practices on iTunes. So they're
so good. Get your copy today. And as I've been saying throughout the show, Reverend Cynthia, she is in Bali, but you can reach out to Reverend Cynthia for any spiritual counseling. Her book, go to cynthiaambries.org. That's where you can land to get more information. You can follow me at skipjennings.com. And I want you to find out about how you can come to Bali with me next year, March 2026. That information is on my website and on the social medias. I'm Rev Skip Jennings, at Rev Skip Jennings everywhere. And, so part of this work, we do this work here online. We do it in person. So you can come and check us out. The Agape International Spiritual Center with Reverend Julie. What time are your services now?
We have a 6:45 a.m. Pacific time for a meditation, and it's streamed everywhere. Agape International Spiritual Center on Facebook, or Michael Bernard Beckwith. And then we've got, so that's meditation and a Dharma talk. And then there is an 8:30 a.m. meditation, 9 o'clock service, and 11 a.m. meditation and 11:30 service. So come on down.
Please. And what we're going to start coming up, because Reverend Cynthia, she is in Las Vegas, CSL. We're going to start putting this information in our program notes. And I've been going to start doing it. But if you want to come in and visit me, I am actually at Simi Valley Center for Spiritual Living this Sunday, I think at 10:30. That's where I'm the guest speaker. But my normal gig on a Sunday and on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. is called the Wednesday Wake Up. And that is at the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science, a oneness center for spiritual living. And check it out, y'all. You can check out more information in nhcrs.org. These too many acronyms going through my head, but check out more information about that. This has been so much joy. I am so excited about where we're going with this. Oh, this is so amazing. So y'all, please come tune in with us next week here at the New Thought Media Network. Oh, I forgot one thing. Make sure you give to the New Thought Media Network, because this is a ministry. Go to ntmedia.org/donate. And do you have a PayPal or Zelle that people can send to you, Reverend Julie?
They could send a gift to Agape if they feel like.
Absolutely.
That would be nice.
You can share at Agape, and people like to give on this station. And you can also give to me. I'm on PayPal. You just go to my PayPal is skip@skipjennings.com. It's a law of circulation. As you give, you shall receive. Again, this has been absolutely wonderful. I am so excited. We have a few comments right here. Oh, trust that is so. Trust me, came through from you, little Skip. You love that, Denise. I love your comments. We didn't get all your comments in today, but we're just so grateful that you said yes. All right, y'all. Remember, transformation is a choice. You can choose today. Be kind, y'all. We got to be kind. So we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Bye-bye.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents The High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network.